Prime Minister. I think Carolyn's got a picture of him for all you ladies to enjoy. Yeah. Folks say I look a lot like him, so I get that all the time. The Canadian people are a wonderful people. This is not as populated a country as we are. They have about 36 million. We have about 10 times that many in the States, so it's not a highly populated country. 10 provinces, 3 territories. The capital is Ottawa, not Toronto. It's just the largest city in the country, and we're not far from it right now in Stratford area. So one thing I might just add is that the French who are in Canada take their Frenchness very seriously. In Montreal, there have been many attempts to make that city a French-only zone. And in fact, if you wear a t-shirt with English letters on it, you are much maligned. And so when you visit Montreal, you'll want to make sure and take your French t-shirt with you instead of your English language t-shirt. Especially so if they think you're Canadian. So if you're there in Montreal visiting, make sure you use your Sydney accent, and that will help you a great deal. I know one French word, and that is filet mignon. That's all I can say. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Carolyn Johnson, who is our professor of theater and art and humanities. She's the chair of our humanities department. She's going to give us a little briefing on As You Like It and on Stratford Theater. Carolyn.
Ooh, I sound so important, don't I? One of the famous speeches that you might recognize, whether or not you're familiar with Shakespeare. And it begins, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. That's one of the most famous Shakespeare speeches, so I'm singing that around as well. And the story of, and the story of Stratford, Ontario was kind of a typical small industrial town, kind of like Greenville. We might be kind of aware of something like that, Greenville. And they lost their major business in the 50s. And they were looking for a way to revitalize the community. And somebody had the idea, and his name was Tom Patterson. He had the idea of creating a Shakespeare festival, and that tourists would come to find art, find drama. And they began they started the fundraising in 1952, and 6 months later, in 1953, they opened their first season under a tent. So for many years it was in a tent. And you might notice there are 4 theaters operating at the same time during the Shakespeare Festival. And this is the big business of the town. And you might notice that the theater that we go to you can kind of tell that it used to be a tent. So it is kind of like a building that is in the shape of a tent. This particular Shakespeare. Certainly one of the reasons that Shakespeare is so popular is that it can fit all times and places.
Like little clips for the video. They're so good. That's pumpkin pie. Oh, I didn't mean to touch it. And then that's lemon custard on there. And these balls, I thought they were gelatin, but they're not. They're weird liquidy things. Very weird. Let's see if I can poke one. See? It's weird. It's like. It looks funny. Anyway, yep, that's that.